Students, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
The divergence of magnetic induction vector is 0. Today we will prove that the divergence of magnetic induction vector is 0. Today we will prove the divergence of magnetic field induction is 0 or magnetic field is solenoidal in nature. Now from Biot-Savart law we know B equal to mu 0 by 4 pi I dl cross R by R cube. This is the Biot-Savart law. Now expression. Now what is Biot-Savart law? If there is a current carrying conductor, then it produces magnetic field around it. Now the magnitude and the direction of the magnetic field is given by Biot-Savart law. This is the expression of Biot-Savart law. What mathematically we have proved that divergence of B equal to 0. Mobile. Mu 0 by 4 pi. Mu 0 by 4 pi. This is I. That is the current. This I this I is the current, dl, that is the length. Here I have written I hat dlx plus j hat dly plus k hat dlz, that is that dl. And r is what, you know, I hat x plus j hat y plus k hat z. And what is r? That is x square plus y square plus z square whole to the power half, and it is cubed there, so 3/2. Now this is the expression of the magnetic field. We are assuming that the current is flowing along the z direction. So what is b? Then mu 0 by, then here, if the current is flowing only along the z direction, then dlx and dly, that two component is are not existing. Though which component is existing? That is k hat into dlz. So only we have written in dl that is vector, that we are taking as taking it for simplicity of calculation, that is k hat into dlz exists. Only the current flows in the z direction. So we are taking the dl so we are taking dl as k hat into dlz. Now here I hat x plus j hat y plus k hat z, that is cross sign. Now the denominator is the same. Now what we are doing, just take the cross product. Take the cross product of k hat dot I hat. What is j? K hat dot I hat, that is equal to j hat. And here k hat dot k hat cross k hat, this component is 0, and k hat dot j hat, that the minus I hat. So here, just after taking the cross product, we have mu 0 by 4 pi I. This I is the current, remember, and this is I hat, that this is I hat, but this I is current. Now here, divergence of B we are calculating. So B, basically it has the value of this. Now we know divergence of B. This is the I hat del L x plus j hat del Ly plus k hat del Z. That is divergence. That is the grad. Then dot. That is divergence. Now this value is kept here. This value, it is written here. Now only what we are doing, that is only the differentiation we are doing here. So del L x of this plus del Ly of this, and this is mu 0 by 4 pi I dlz, that is kept outside because this is acting as constant. So only you have to take the dot product of this and this term. So here I hat dot j hat, you know the value is 0. I hat dot I hat, this value will get. Similarly, where j hat dot j hat, this value will get, but j hat dot I hat, this value will get 0. And here also for the third one also. So just simplifying when taking the differentiation. So just simplifying and taking the differentiation, we have ultimately, if you simplify and go through through these steps, you will get the value is 0. So this is mathematically calculated. So for proving divergence of B equal to 0, just we have taken Biot-Savart law. We have taken dl as this, we have taken r as this, and rq as this. Then we are taking that current is flowing along the positive z direction. So only k hat dlz portion exists in whole dl vector. Then taking the cross product, and ultimately we are doing divergence of B. We are doing divergence of B. This is grad dot, that is divergence of this. So only now simply the calculation, taking the del L x and del Ly, and ultimately if you calculate following these steps, you will get ultimately 0 value. So divergence of B equal to 0, and B is the magnetic induction vector or magnetic field. Now, thus B is divergenceless. This is the most important characteristics of magnetic induction vector, and it reflects as the absence of magnetic monopoles. This question is given in 5 different ways. First, what may be given? Write down the physical significance of divergence of B equal to 0. This is the second Maxwell equation. Divergence of B equal to 0. This is the second Maxwell equation. And what is the we have proved what is why divergence of B equal to 0, and divergence of B equal to 0 would give the local density of magnetic charges or monopole. Since B is always divergenceless, so no volume element will contain magnetic charge of one sign only. Divergence of B equal to 0. Divergence of B equal to 0, thus the magnetic field is solenoidal. So it may be given prove the magnetic field is solenoidal in nature. That is, you have to prove divergence of B equal to 0. So the magnetic flux, the significance of the magnetic flux entering any region of volume is equal to the magnetic flux leaving the volume. Hence, the net flux over the volume is equal to 0. Since the net flux per unit volume is 0, so mathematically we can write divergence of B equal to 0. This is known as differential form of Gauss law in magnetostatics. So this is if the question is given that write down the differential form of Gauss law in magnetostatics. So you have to write the divergence of B equal to 0. So in different languages it may be given. Prove that magnetic field is solenoidal in nature. Show that magnetic monopole does not exist. What is the, write down the Gauss law in magnetostatics. Differential form of Gauss law in magnetostatics. That is equal to, there are, we have discussed the differential form of Gauss law in electrostatics, but here divergence of B equal to 0, that is the Gauss law in magnetostatics. Actually, these chapters are not whole in your syllabus, but as Maxwell equation is in your syllabus, so I am just describing all these things. So divergence of B equal to 0, this is second Maxwell equation in differential form. Now Ampere's circuitry law. You have to know Ampere's circuitry law. What is that law? The line integral of magnetic field induction B around a closed path is equal to mu0 times the total current enclosed by the path. So here the line integral of B dot dl, that is the line integral of B magnetic induction vector, is equal to around a closed path or circuit is equal to mu0 times the total current enclosed by the path. So mu0 times the total current enclosed by the path. Now consider a long straight current carrying conductor XY. We are considering XY, that is a long current carrying conductor, and the current flows through it from the end of X to Y. In this direction current is flowing, and by arrow the direction of the current is shown. Due to the flow of current through the conductor, magnetic field will produced around it. Magnetic field is produced around it. If a current flows through a conductor, then magnetic field is produced around it. The magnitude of the magnetic field of induction at a point at a distance r from the conductor, it is given by Biot-Savart law. We can prove this. Okay, but all these are not included in your syllabus, so I'm not discussing. So I'm discussing it very briefly, that B equal to mu0 by 4 pi 2I by r. That is the expression. Now here B dot dl equal to B dot dl equal to, we can write a dl equal to 2 pi r. So here, if this is the current carrying conductor, and here say at that point P, you have to find out the what will be the magnetic field. So here in that point P, the magnetic field is mu0 by 4 pi into 2I by r. Using Biot-Savart law, we can prove this. The magnetic field at a distance r from a current carrying conductor is given by mu0 by 4 pi 2I by r. R is the distance of that point from that conductor, and I is the current flowing through the conductor. So this is the magnetic expression of the magnetic field. Now P dot dl, dl equal to what? dl equal to 2 pi r. So what is the value of B? The value of B is what? The value of B is mu0 by 4 pi into 2I by r. So it is written B dot dl equal to, the B is given as mu0 by 4 pi 2I by r, and dl equal to what? 2 pi r. So this is r. So what is this total? That is 2 pi r. So ultimately we are getting B dot dl equal to mu0 I. So this is the Ampere's circuitry law. This is the expression of Ampere's circuitry law. So Ampere's circuitry law plays the same role in magnetostatics as Gauss law plays in electrostatics. So Ampere's circuitry law is B dot dl equal to integration mu0 I. So remember this expression. Now B dot dl integration of B dot dl equal to mu0 I. This is the integral form of Maxwell equation. This is the integral form of Maxwell equation, and here we are now proving the differential form of Maxwell equation. If we are considering the total current enclosed by a path enclosing a wall as surface S, and then we can write I equal to J dot ds. I have already discussed this. J is the current density in an element, ds of surface bounded by the closed path. Now Ampere's circuitous law, we know B dot dl equal to mu 0 I. We know this from the Ampere's circuitous law. Then I equal to what? I equal to J dot ds. What is J? J is the current density. So we are putting just the value of I from this equation 1, and we are writing like this. Now from Stokes law, what we can write? Line integration B dot dl equal to surface integration curl of B dot ds. This is given as equation number 3. So Stokes law can convert line integration to surface integration, as Gauss law in convert surface integration to volume. Here we are, Stokes law is converting line integration to surface integration. So in place of equation 2, so we are considering equation 2, and in left hand side of equation 2, here B dot dl is replaced by surface integration of curl of B dot ds. So here in place of B dot dl, what we are writing? Curl of B dot ds. And now curl of B dot ds is written, and this portion mu 0 into surface integration J dot ds, it is kept in the left hand side. It is kept in the left hand side, and ultimately what we are getting? Divergence of B, surface integration of divergence of B minus mu 0 J dot ds equal to 0. So ultimately we can write curl of B equal to mu 0 J. So curl of B equal to mu 0 J, this is the differential form of Ampere's circuitous law. So we in Ampere's circuitous law, there are two forms, integral form and differential form. Integral form is integration of B dot dl equal to mu 0 I, and differential form is curl of B equal to mu 0 J. So this is the differential form of Ampere's circuitous law. Now modified Ampere's law. Now we are coming to modified Ampere's law. Now what we know? Curl of B equal to mu 0 J. What is this? We will say curl of B equal to mu 0 J, just I have defined. Anyone can say, otherwise I will call by name. Curl of B equal to mu 0 J. What is that law? No one is answering. Just I have proved, and at the top it is written the name.
Ampere's circuitous law.
Ampere's circuitous law. So this is the differential form of Ampere's circuitous law. Now we will modify the Ampere's circuitous law. How we will modify? What is the need for the modification? That we will discuss. Now curl of B equal to mu 0 J. You know it. Now if we take divergence on both sides, so divergence of curl of B. So curl of B equal to mu 0 J, we are taking the divergence. So divergence of curl of B equal to what? Mu 0, this mu 0 into divergence of J equal to 0. So now divergence of any curl, I discussed yesterday, that is divergence of any curl is 0. Okay, so the left hand side is equal to 0. So we are getting divergence of J equal to 0. As the left hand side curl of divergence of curl of B is 0, then mu into divergence of J equal to 0. So ultimately divergence of J equal to 0. This is equation 2. Now from equation of continuity, we know divergence. Yesterday I discussed the equation of continuity. Now divergence of J equal to minus del rho by del T. Now equation 3 is true only when del rho by del T equal to 0. Now from continuity equation, we know that is divergence of J equal to minus del rho by del T. This is true. And from this Ampere's circuitous law, what we have proved? That divergence of J equal to 0. So divergence of J equal to 0, again divergence of J equal to minus del rho by del T. So if equation 3 is true, if this equation is 3 is true, then we have to put this del rho by del T equal to 0. Then del rho by del T equal to 0. That is rho is constant of time. Rho is not varying with time. So rho is constant with time. So Ampere's circuitous law is valid for static charge density. So V is rho is the volume charge density. So charge density is not dependent on time. So del rho by del T equal to 0. So we can say that Ampere's circuital law, it is only valid for static charge density. When rho equal to constant, then it is only valid. But Ampere's circuital law in case of time varying field does not hold good. So what we have proved here, that is Ampere's circuital law is true only when rho is constant, that is del rho by del T equal to 0. But so that is what is only valid for static charge density, that is del rho by del T equal to 0. But when the charge density is not static, then in that condition it does not hold good. Then what will be the Ampere's circuital law for time varying field? Ampere's circuital law in case of time varying field does not hold good. So now Maxwell added another term to Ampere's law and ensured that it is valid for a time varying field. Now Maxwell added another term to Ampere's circuital law and ensured that it is valid for time varying field. So Maxwell corrected the Ampere's circuital law. So Maxwell corrected the Ampere's circuital law, adding one extra term. So what is the drawback of Ampere's circuital law? Drawback of Ampere's circuital law is that is only valid for static charge density. Then what will be the Ampere's circuital law for time varying field? That was explained by Maxwell by putting another term in the expression of Ampere's circuital law. What is that term? That term, it is explained here. Now, divergence of B equal to mu 0 J. It was Ampere's circuital law, and now that extra term M is added. So divergence of curl of B, we are taking divergence in both sides. So divergence of curl of B equal to what? Divergence of J plus M. Now, as the divergence of any curl is 0, so this term equal to 0. So we are starting from the Ampere's circuital law, putting an extra term M, and then taking divergence on both sides. So divergence of curl of B equal to mu 0 into divergence of J plus M equal to 0. Now any divergence of any curl equal to 0. So this portion is 0. So we have this portion is 0. So we can write the divergence of J equal to divergence of M equal to minus divergence of J, because divergence of J plus M equal to 0. So divergence of J plus divergence of M equal to 0. If we change the side, we can write divergence of M equal to minus. What is the noise I am getting? Mute all. Divergence of curl of B equal to 0. So divergence of M equal to minus divergence of J. Now again, from continuity equation, we know divergence of J equal to, from continuity equation just we have explained that what? From continuity equation we know divergence of J equal to minus del rho by del T. So here, so divergence of J equal to del rho by del T. So minus divergence of J equal to what? Del rho by del T. So here it is as it is minus, so no minus sign in front of del rho by del T. So we can write this. Now from Gauss law in electrostatics, we know. From Gauss law in electrostatics, so Gauss law has two forms. Yesterday I proved. Gauss law has two forms. Yesterday we have proved. Gauss law has two forms, that is E dot ds equal to q by epsilon 0, integration of E dot ds equal to q by epsilon 0, that is the integral form, and the differential form I also proved yesterday, that is divergence of E equal to rho by epsilon 0. This is the differential form of Gauss law. Now rho equal to epsilon 0 into divergence of E. So rho equal to epsilon 0 into divergence of E. So now next what we are doing, actually it was done by Maxwell. We are explaining. So divergence of M here. So divergence of M equal to what? Del rho by del T. Now rho equal to what? The epsilon 0 into divergence of E. So we are putting this value of rho here. So we are getting divergence of M equal to what? This epsilon 0 is written here. Then del T of rho. Then del T of rho. So here del T of rho, that is this one. So putting the value of rho here in this expression, del rho by del T becomes epsilon 0 del T of divergence of E. So what is your M value? So divergence, if you put divergence outside, if you put this divergence outside, then you write divergence of epsilon 0 into del E by del T. That is equal to your M. So compare both sides. Compare both sides. If you put this divergence in front of this equation here, divergence is here, then you can write divergence of epsilon 0 into del E by del T. So here divergence of M, and here in right hand side divergence of epsilon 0 into del E by del T. So compare both sides. If you compare both sides, leaving the divergence, so M equal to epsilon 0 del E by del T. So from here, so what is epsilon 0? We are writing as D. We have proved it earlier when displacement current we have discussed. So epsilon 0 is your D. So here it is M equal to del D by del T. So M is your del D by del T. So after modification, Ampere's circuital law becomes curl of B. It was initially mu 0 J. Now here it is mu 0 J plus del D by del T. Now here curl of B into mu 0, it is J and this is JD. So I explained when I was discussing displacement current that there are two types of current, displacement current. There are two types of current, that is displacement current and the conduction current. So here the current density, actually J is the current density due to conduction current, and JD equal to del D by del T. We are writing at JD equal to del D by del T, that is known as displacement current density. So that is the sum. Total current is the sum of displacement current density and the conduction current density. So yeah, curl of B that was initially mu 0 J. Now here curl of B that was initially mu 0 J. Now it is curl of B equal to mu 0 J plus JD. So when there is no displacement current, then there is no displacement current density. Then curl of B equal to mu 0, that is mu 0 J, that is Ampere's circuital law. But when displacement current exists, then this is the sum of these two. And when conduction current is 0, then curl of B equal to mu 0 into JD. So total as a whole J plus JD equal to constant. Now displacement current exists even in perfect vacuum, although there is no charge of any type. The presence of the term JD enabled Maxwell to predict that an electromagnetic field should propagate through space in the form of waves. Now, from this observation of charge, we can necessarily say that the total current density, that is J plus JD, J is the conduction current density and JD is the displacement current density, should obey the continuity equation. The individual term may or may not be continuous, that is J may not be continuous or JD may not be continuous individually. Individually they are just a minute. So here the individual term may or may not be continuous. As an example, in the case of charging of a parallel plate capacitor, there is a conduction current in the region outside the plate of the capacitor, and in the empty space between the plates of the capacitor, conduction current exists. Between the plates of the capacitor and in empty space between the plate of the capacitor, conduction current is 0, but displacement current has a definite value between the plates. So in charging of a capacitor, we can say that in between the plates of the parallel plate capacitor, only displacement current exists, their conduction current is 0, but outside the plate of the capacitor, that is in the circuit, that is outside the plate, the total current is conduction current, there the displacement current is 0. So we can write the Ampere circuitous law as a whole, that is curl of B equal to mu 0 into J plus JD. So this is a modified Ampere circuitous law by Maxwell. It describes the displacement current and conduction current both. It valid for time varying field and steady field also. In steady field, that is JD does not exist, and that is displacement current arises only due to time varying field. So JD is not, ZD is 0 here in the steady field, but if there is time varying field, then two terms are there. Now it is very easy for you all. Maxwell equation in differential form. Maxwell first equation. The first equation represents Gauss law in electrostatics, and which can be written as divergence of E equal to rho by epsilon 0. We have proved this. So for this purpose, we have described all these things which we have described earlier, because these are the laws that we have proved already. Now this is the time independent steady state equation which relates the spatial variation or divergence of an electric field. So what it gives, so you can see divergence of E, we are saying it divergence of E. So divergence of electric field, and grad, that is the space part, that is I hat del del x plus j hat del del y plus k hat del del z. So it is only depending on grad, that is only on space part, there is no time part. So the spatial dependence of the electric field vector with the charge density. So what is this? That is the volume charge density rho. So it gives the dependence spatial. So no time is here. So spatial dependence of electric field vector with the charge density. So what the Maxwell first equation, it gives the Gauss law in electrostatics. It can be written as divergence of E equal to rho by epsilon 0, and it gives the spatial variation or the divergence of electric field with the charge density. And this is both are true for stationary and moving charges. Now Maxwell's second equation, we have proved already divergence of B equal to 0. Second equation represents Gauss law in magnetostatics. We said that is the Gauss law in magnetostatics. It is written as divergence of B equal to 0 if it is given in MCQ. That is Gauss law in magnetostatics is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 options. So you have to write divergence of B equal to 0. This equation states that an isolated magnetic pole does not exist. This is the time independent steady state equation which gives the what? So I already said this is grad when a curl of it, but basically so this is I hat del L x plus j hat here. I hat del L x plus j hat del L y plus k hat del L z. So this gives the space gradient. So divergence of B equal to 0, that is this gives the spatial variation of magnetic field. So which gives the spatial variation of or divergence of magnetic induction. So Maxwell's second equation, what gives? Maxwell's second equation gives the spatial variation of magnetic field, and the value is 0 because magnetic monopole does not exist. Isolated magnetic monopole does not exist. Now the third equation is what? Curl of equal to del B by del T. What is this? This is the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. We have described Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction in integral form and differential form. So it is the differential form. So what we are describing here, that is the Maxwell equation in differential form. So we are all writing the differential form of all this because here Gauss law in differential form. When we will write Maxwell equation in integral form, there we will write the integral form of Gauss law, which already we have discussed. Maxwell third equation is this. So differential form, we have proved this. Differential form is written, it represents Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. This equation shows that time varying magnetic field. So you can show, it is shown time varying del T of B. So the time variation, the time varying electric field. So here, time varying electric field. So time varying magnetic field acts as a source of electric field. So we can show from here, that is del T of B. So time varying magnetic field acts as a source of electric field. Or we can say this equation shows that the time varying magnetic field acts as a source of electric field, or relates the spatial variation of electric field. You can see that is this is the space part. Curl of the first part, this is grad actually. So curl here, this term, so this gives the spatial variation. So as this is space, so the spatial variation of electric field and the time variation of magnetic field. So you can say, if it is given, the Maxwell third equation, write and explain. So this gives the spatial variation of electric field with the time variation of magnetic field. Or you can say the time variation of magnetic field acts as a source of electric field. This is the Maxwell third equation. And Maxwell fourth equation is what? It is the modified Ampere's circuital law, which I have just explained. What is the Maxwell fourth equation in differential form? That is curl of B equal to mu 0 J plus del D by del T. That is D equal to epsilon 0 E. So this is the Maxwell fourth equation. This is time independent equation. Above equation shows that a time varying electric field. This is time dependent equation actually. So above equation shows that time varying electric field. So it is time dependent. Above equation shows that a time varying electric field. So here del E by del T. So time varying electric field acts as a source of magnetic field. So time varying electric field del E by del T acts as a source of magnetic field. And we can also say the spatial variation of the magnetic induction vector. It relates the spatial variation of magnetic induction vector with the time variation of electric field, or we can say that equation relates the spatial variation of magnetic field with conduction current and displacement current density. So this is conduction current density and this is displacement current density JD. So this equation, Maxwell's fourth equation, gives the spatial relation between spatial variation of magnetic field with the conduction current density and displacement current density. So these are the Maxwell four equations, and we have already deduced all these four equations. Okay. Now in the next class we will explain the integral form of the Maxwell's equation. Now, so Maxwell equation, it is included in your syllabus and it is very, very important also.